Chapter 16, The Law of the Big Mo. Momentum is a leader's best friend. Solomon is the biblical character that best illustrates this law. Have you ever experienced being on a roll? Some people call it being in the zone. Everything goes right. Every prospective customer says yes, and no matter what you try, you can't seem to miss. It's something you occasionally see in sports. A basketball player can't seem to miss a shot. A quarterback completes a dozen passes in a row, or a pitcher executes a perfect game in baseball. If you've had an experience like that, then you know it's an awesome feeling. But have you ever experienced that kind of thing as a leader? If you have, I can tell you how you did it. Momentum. When it comes to achievement, momentum is a leader's best friend. However, it takes a leader to create momentum. Followers catch it, and managers are able to continue it once it has begun. But creating it requires someone who can motivate others, not someone who needs to be motivated. Harry Truman once said, "If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen." But for leaders, that statement should be changed to read, "If you can't make some heat, get out of the kitchen." You see, all leaders face the challenge of creating change in an organization. Just as every sailor knows that you can't steer a ship that isn't moving forward, strong leaders understand that to change direction, you first have to create forward progress. When you have no momentum, even the simplest task can seem to be insurmountable problems. But when you have momentum on your side, the future looks bright, obstacles appear small, and trouble seems temporary. In fact, with enough momentum, nearly any kind of change is possible. If Israel's King Solomon had believed that the momentum his father created would be enough to sustain him for 40 years, that he was on the throne, he would have been in big trouble. It's true that King David gave Solomon that momentum he needed to have a good start as king, but to keep the momentum going, he had to make his own ongoing contribution. To learn how to sustain existing momentum and create new momentum, listen to the following 5 things that young Solomon did after becoming Israel's third king. Number 1, he started with what the previous leader provided. Solomon's father, King David, gave him everything he needed to start his reign as king: a stable kingdom, resources, wise counsel, and his public endorsement. David made it clear to everyone in Israel that his choice for king was Solomon, and that provided a jump-start for Solomon's credibility with the people. Number 2, he humbly asked for leadership wisdom above all else. It is believed that Solomon was about 18 years old when he became king of Israel. Think about the people you know who are that age and consider what most of them would ask for given the chance to have anything they wanted. Many 18-year-old boys today would choose a $100,000 sports car and the best stereo equipment on the market. But Solomon recognized that leading Israel wouldn't be easy. He understood that his greatest need was wisdom and understanding heart to judge God's people. And that request kept his motives pure and made it possible for him to avoid momentum breakers in the beginning. Number 3, he made wise decisions that won him credibility. Solomon made several insightful decisions concerning enemies to the throne immediately after the death of David. He exiled one opponent, executed 2 others, and put a 4th under a house arrest. But even more important, he cemented his credibility with the people. Scriptures state that the wisdom he displayed on the well-known dispute between the 2 harlots and the baby had a profound impact on the people. 1 Kings 3 says, "All Israel heard of the judgment which the king had rendered, and they revered the king." Number 4, he maintained the peace. Solomon's few bold moves against the enemies within Israel maintained peace at home, thus preventing a bloody civil war, like the one his father had experienced. But Solomon wisely took additional measures to keep other nations from threatening the country's progress. He used his wisdom to advise and entertain his own governors and the rulers of neighboring nations, and according to 1 Kings 4, he had peace on every side all around him. Number 5, he surrounded himself with wise associates. In the Law of the Inner Circle, I talked about some of David's key leaders contained in the Bible. The only king of Israel who can challenge David as a gatherer of a great inner circle is Solomon. A few men were trusted servants of David whom Solomon kept on in his administration, but the majority were not. In addition to Solomon's 12 competent governors, another 11 men were added to assist him in leading the people of Israel. The group included 3 priests, 2 scribes, a recorder, a special advisor, an army commander, a chief of labor, an overseer of officers, and the head of his royal household. With a good handoff, wisdom, a great inner circle, and good decision-making, Solomon took the nation of Israel to a place it had never been before. It became the most prosperous kingdom in the world, and as a result, it became a living demonstration of God's favor and glory to everyone who came into contact with it. But unfortunately, Solomon's story doesn't have a happy ending. You see, Solomon was an illustrious leader in nearly every respect except the area of character. Over time, he allowed his passion for God to become clouded by his passion for women. That eventually led to widespread idolatry in Israel and a weak successor named Rehoboam, who would quickly destroy 40 years of momentum in a matter of days, thus proving that without character, even the greatest momentum cannot be sustained forever. No matter where you are as a leader, whether you're starting an organization from scratch, building an organization that's already off the ground, or following a great leader, momentum can make or break your organization, and character can make or break your momentum. But if you learn to use momentum to your advantage and keep your character in close check, you'll be able to take your people just about anywhere. As you reflect on the law of the Big Mo and the story of Solomon, consider this. 1. Often the only difference between winning and losing is momentum. 2. Momentum is a good leader's gift. 3. Momentum does not sustain itself. And 4. While a good leader sustains momentum, a great leader increases it. Think about teams or organizations you've led in the past. Do they have a history of winding down or gearing up? Has your goal been to preserve gains achieved by a predecessor, or has your desire been to break new ground? Your answer should help you see whether you've been a momentum maker, a momentum taker, or a momentum faker. As you prepare to turn off the tape, take the remaining minutes of your time to reflect on an upcoming task that you need to lead your people through. Think of one thing that you can do immediately to begin building momentum for the team. If you want to learn more about Solomon and the law of the Big Mo, read his story in the book of 1 Kings.